How are you today? Today we're going to read Come Over to My House. It's another book by Theo LeSieg, and illustrated by Richard Erdos. Look at all those little houses. Different types of houses. Okay, Pangyao Jai, are you ready? Let's open up the book. Wow, look at all those footsteps. That means someone's been walking. Been walking through all these different places. So many places. Come Over to My House by Theo LeSieg, illustrated by Richard Erdos. Come over to my house. Some houses are bricks and some houses are sticks. That's a brick house. This house is made of sticks. Have you ever seen a house made of sticks? I've actually been in a house made of sticks. Some houses are square and some houses are round. That would be a square house. This is a round house. There are all kinds of houses around to be found. Some are high on stilts, high up off the ground. Look how high that is. You need a ladder to get in. Some houses are wide. Some houses are thin. Some are so thin you could hardly get in. Look at these houses. Look at those. But wherever you go, you will hear someone say, "Come over to my house. Come over and play." Come over to my house. The fishing is great. They bite all the time, and you don't have to wait. Come over someday and bring plenty of bait. They're going fishing. Look at this boat. They've got some funny stick on the outside. That stick on a boat, when it looks like that and it's outside, is called an outrigger. That looks like a palm tree with coconuts. That's what a coconut tree looks like. My house has a kite that can whistle and sing. Come over someday and bring plenty of string. I had trouble with that word. There's another tree. There's a little lantern, but it's pouring something out. Looks like water. And there, they're having fun flying a kite. My house has so many big pine trees outside, we can slide on my wonderful pine needle slide. Have you ever gone sledding down some snow? He's going sledding down some pine trees. I knew someone who used to practice sliding down on banana leaves. Look at this, they're round on the side. That means it's a log house. It's a house made of logs. The roof of my house has a stork on a nest. That's a stork. A stork is a kind of bird, a really tall bird. Some houses have little nests on top of them for storks. The roof of my house is a good place to rest. Wow. I don't know what your house looks like, but my house, if I stood on it, I would slide off. You can play on my roof, but my house is so tall, it's a long way downstairs to go after the ball. You have to be careful because if you go over, wow, you have to go down all the way. It's like being in an apartment building or being in a very tall office tower. My house is bright pink and it's happy and gay. Our streets are wet water. We like it that way. Wow, what would happen if you walked outside and all you saw was water everywhere? Even Kitty Cat is saying, I don't think I'll go out. But they have these little boats, and they can go from house to house. Come up on my porch, and I'll give you a treat. Spaghetti! We'll eat, and we'll eat, and we'll eat. We'll eat 20 miles of it. We'll eat a ton. Food at my house is such wonderful fun. Wow. They're sitting in a special little dining box. And they're eating spaghetti, more spaghetti than they could possibly eat. Come over to my house and sit by the fire. My fire burns trees, and it's hotter and higher. So this little fire is like a small little fireplace, but this fireplace is big. See that? That's the pit. Look what he's burning. He's not burning small little logs or twigs. He's burning huge logs. Our fire's in a stove. It makes beautiful heat. Come over, and warm your cold feet. This is an urn pouring out water. But look at this fireplace. That's like your furnace downstairs, only it's kind of in your living room. Come over to my house. I live on a boat. I live in a city of houses that float. Have you ever been on a boat? Some people live in their boats. All these boats are tied together and there's a bridge to go across it. Come into my houseboat, have supper with me. I'll give you cold rice and a cup of hot tea. Uh-oh, he's struggling. Do you know how to use chopsticks? Do you know how to use a knife and fork? I eat with chopsticks, but you can learn how. But boy, you are terribly sloppy right now. It's okay not to be good at something, so long as you practice and you can learn it later. He's riding on the elephant with some tigers. Come over to my house and stay for the night. We have 200 rooms, so I'm sure it's all right. But don't touch the tigers. They're liable to bite. Yeah, it's not a good idea to touch a tiger. Even though it looks like a kitty cat, he doesn't like to be touched. In my house, my bath is a fancy machine with handles and spouts, and it's long and it's green. I just have a tub, but I can keep just as clean. Have you ever washed yourself in a tub? At our house, hot water comes out of the rocks. It's handy for washing ourselves and our socks. Look at this water. Look at that. What do you think that is? Those are little volcanoes. They're keeping the water warm. Come over to our house. You'll like our bath too, especially if you have some laundry to do. That looks like a cactus. Over at my house, you'll eat funny fruit. You'll ride on my llama and toot on my flute. It's very flat here. And that's a llama. Wow, can you read that? That's difficult to read. My house has books, and they're all very fine. I'll learn to read yours, and you'll learn to read mine. If you see someone who has a different kind of alphabet, you can ask them how to read it. And then you'll be able to read it later. I think that's Dad out there on the tractor. In a faraway place in a wide empty land, my house is a tent, in the wind and the sand. That's like camping all the time. But it's such a big tent that it takes many camels to carry it. Sun and no clouds. All sand. It's like one gigantic beach. At my house I'll show you a wonderful show in the night in the sky where the northern lights glow. The northern lights are quite impressive. That's a little kayak. So he sits inside and it's all sealed up. This is a funny little house. My house has an ostrich. My house has an ostrich. Hop on it, take a ride, but watch where you're riding. Don't ride him inside. Look at this house. Isn't that pretty? Nice and round. A little straw for the roof. That's kind of pretty. In back of my house, there's a red kangaroo. There's a kangaroo. 2 koala bears. And an emu or 2. Come over and play. We're all waiting for you. You know what that is? That's a little windmill. You can either use it to pump water or you can make electricity with it. My house is quite cold. I need fur to sleep in. My house is quite hot. I just sleep in my skin. Look what he's got. That's called a hammock. That's like a bear skin. I sleep in a bed with a big puffy puff. Come over some night. We have puff puffs enough. Wow. Look how much he's like sleeping on multiple pillows. Even his blanket's fully all puffed up. And even the bed itself is all puffed up. In my house I sleep on a mat on the floor. There's a mat here for you, but I hope you don't snore. Have you ever seen a pillow like that? It looks very uncomfortable. I've actually slept on one. It's more comfortable than you think. And he's got mats right on the floor. Come over to my house and we'll milk a cow. It isn't too hard, and it's time you learned how. I just go down to the store and buy milk, but some people can milk a cow and get milk from the cow directly. You can milk goats at my house, so come with your pail. It's easy. You'll find the milk back near the tail. Right? That's where the milk comes out. They're milking a goat, not a cow. My house has a reindeer. Come on, don't be shy. Step up, start milking, boy. Give it a try. Now that would be scary. Look at those antlers. If he didn't like you milking him, you'd say, "Nope, go away." This house looks like it's just a roof, but it's actually a house. Every house in the world has a ceiling and a floor, but the ones you like best have a wide open door. That looks like a yak. His house is on an edge of a mountain. You have to walk across a long bridge. That's called a rope bridge. My houses are rich, full of silver and gold. And some are quite poor, sort of empty and old. Sort of the same, but a little bit different. Some houses are marble and some are just tin, but they're all alike when a friend asks you in. So there are so many houses you'll meet on your way, and wherever you go, you'll hear someone say, "Come over to my house, come over and play." Look at all these friends in different types of houses. Oh, and don't forget Mr. Stork, who's sitting on top of somebody's roof. This house is interesting. It looks like a tower. Look at all those steps. This person's traveled a lot of places. He's been invited in and said, come over and play to my house. Wow. I wonder which house he lives in. That's a good question. I hope you enjoyed the story today.